descriptions to ensure that anybody who is watching would get to see the right thing. Okay. Okay, so I think that is sorted out now. So if you are watching from YouTube, you should be able to hear me by now. So now let's get into why we're here today. So on Monday, we were able to work on the schedule manager. Let me share my screen. It wasn't schedule manager before, it was marketing manager. I'm going to share my screen a little bit here. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen. So this was it was marketing manager, and then we made it schedule manager. And currently the way it works is that you can schedule appointments, but you cannot schedule appointments with people in the same space. So if a space has been occupied, you cannot have any schedule in that space again. And spaces are under people currently. Okay, so I think we might even need to do something about where to keep spaces. So let me see. Spaces are more of a spaces. Spaces look more to me like an appointment thing, not a team thing. Let's see. Let's see. These appointment types. I'm trying to make sense of the use of spaces. I think so. What I'm just going to do is that I'm going to so spaces is under spaces. So you have like different spaces. You have and spaces can be rooms or something. So I think this kind of spaces without making it look very too specific. We can look at it carefully. We can look into such opinions. But there's something I need to do first. I'm going to take us on a walk into the past to when we started this particular. Let's see, I think we started coding last week. Today is 16th. Monday, Friday, Wednesday. Let's check Monday. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for. There's some information I'm looking for. I'm going to find it now. It has to do with the event statistics. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yes, I've seen what I'm looking for. Okay. So I'm just going to check the Q&A section. I kept something there a while ago. So just give me a moment. It's Friday, Wednesday, Monday. It should be this day. Okay, no, not that one. She should be the next one. Okay. This Monday. Let's check Wednesday. 9th of July. No, not here. Didn't check 11th of July. Okay, just a second. I'm looking for something very crucial. I We had a plan of what to do with. I guess I will just check in Zoho quick. We came up with a plan on what to do about the app in order to finish. And I don't want to lose track of that plan. It was in the Q&A section of a particular iteration of these events. It's not the last one. Let's check. Let's check in. This time now, I am checking all of them. I'll check 9th, 7th. Let me check the Friday beforehand. I think it should be in my click. But let's just be sure. Let's see second of July. Okay, I think that this thing is not taking. It's not keeping my content. So I'm going to check in the. Yes, it should be somewhere here. Conversations, automation and integrations. Okay, it feels strange, but instead of following that, I think that we should just be original and go on with our plan. I think that's the best thing to do right now. So, I'll crave your indulgence to have us go on with our plan. So, the first thing we are going to do today is to try to arrange spaces. If we're wrong about it, we're going to do it the right way. The second thing we're going to do is to make sure that you cannot book an appointment with somebody in a space where there is already no, we have already done the one for space. Now you can't book with the same member when the member is with somebody else. We've done it for spaces and we can do it for members. So let me go and first of all arrange these spaces into its own menu so things are a bit tidy. And spaces are going to be under. Yes, spaces are going to be before people. Okay. So let's go to edit the application. We're going to open in a new tab. Okay, so now it opens. Now the first thing we will do is to move this menu out. So let's try and move the menu out. We'll create spaces in here. There you go. Need to hide this one. So before application, we'll add a new space and call it spaces. Then we're going to take, this comes from people already. So we'll put spaces here, then we'll put space types. Good. So this will automatically arrange properly. Then we'll come here to this menu. We'll go down here, create spaces. It's interesting how spaces is the thing, and now we're talking about spaces. So spaces basically just represent the places where the appointments will take place. Okay. And we're going to do something really smart here. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do that is really very, very smart. So we will go to, let's first of all make sure that the menu, yes, the menu is in order here. So one thing we're going to do smart about spaces is that we're going to modify the way spaces work. Let me first of all make sure that this menu is added. Good. So spaces are in order. Remember, we haven't done the indexes very well. We run the indexes of the application to make sure that deleting doesn't mess anybody up. That you cannot go and delete a space when it's used the space type, things like that. And you cannot delete an appointment when it's linked to a space, or you can't delete a member when the person has an appointment. We're going to do all that linking up. But let's go to spaces now and try to fix the major issue with spaces. So what are spaces used for? Spaces are like rooms or places where the events take place. Okay? And you have the space ID, you have the space type, you have the space name, which of course is unique. But then we are going to have something interesting here. We are going to have the space link. Now, the space link is for a situation where the space is a virtual one. So it gives you the opportunity to put the link name, to put the title, and we're still going to dress up all the fields in this application before we give it out. And we're also going to dress up the code as well before we give it out, because the application is not really a hard one. It's just one that requires us to solve key problems by industry. Okay, so this is all the, yep. So we have space link. Now, in order for us to put the space link very well, we have to make sure that it is in the proper place. So we have space link here. We go to the detail here. We take space link up to after description. Then we go here now. Now, what we're really going to do is in this field for mobile, because we have a new field for space, we're going to make this field space link. Okay. And then here, we're going to also include space link. Now, one thing I want you to get from what we're doing today is that if you follow through building the second application, you should know how to use Zoho Deluge. So follow the principles and understand the reason for the principles and share your learning. It's very important you key in this way. Okay. So now let's get to the next point of call. We need to now do the checking of the details to ensure that the appointments are properly mapped. So what was our workflow initially for ad appointments that helped us check space availability? We used a simple space affair. We used appointment. And in this case, we were talking about space. So all we have to do is copy this. And since appointment is already checking date and time and all of that, we'll create a new space availability for appointment. No, a new availability for appointments, not space availability now. Created or edited, and we're going to check member availability. So we'll check member availability. Okay, so we will just say get appointment for member, and then we'll say member equals input member. Okay, and then we'll say get appointment for member.count, isn't it? Then we have member dot member name is not available for appointments at the selected start time. Okay. Now, in this case, we can remove this S and call this for an appointment because there's only one appointment that you are booking. So this automatically has controlled the availability of any member that is being booked that is similar and it's not the same appointment. Now it looks like we should just go home, shouldn't we? But of course, we were going to finish the app today. So let's try to test this booking thing, see if we're right about it. So let's go to appointments now. And let's book an appointment for of course, we won't be able to book appointments for the past. We can book for the future. Okay, we can book appointments for the future. And of course, we won't. Let me see if we did our validation right. Okay, date and time has passed. Okay, interesting. So let me see something. This was 14 July. Added time 14 July. So let me make this 15 July. Let me see something. Oh, I see. So it wouldn't go beyond below your behind the created date of the appointment. Okay, which is good. Good. Okay, excellent. So I just wanted to be sure that that has been sorted out. So now let's use these two appointments that we've created. Let's not create another one. So let's say that this appointment now was for 14th, yeah? It was for a particular space, 1525 to 1625. This second one was for 1425 to 1525. Now, the reality is we had only one member, so let's create a second member now. Okay, no, we have different members. So we will choose Emmanuel Okoro, but I think, let me see if he's in a team that accepts the type of, oh, I see. So we're going to have to create a second type of room. So let's go to spaces now. And let's just create a different room. This one was a meeting room, yes? So let's create a space called let's see, old school office or small office, small room, or let's call this community room. You see now that there is no space link here. But assuming this was a virtual something like Zoom or something, you can add this and then say what, or Zoom link 1, Zoom link 2, all those kind of things, so that people joining the spaces or people that you are booking, they actually pretty much know. And you can extend this application by including email messaging. But I'm not going to do that for you. I'm just going to tell you the different ways, maybe later on when we start doing workflows for Zoho Flow. I will tell you the different ways on how you can use those workflows to work on this app so you can send emails to whoever the respective participants are without writing specific code. But of course, now that you learn Zoho Deluge, I'll tell you how to do without writing code and how to do with writing code. So let's go to, we've created a new space here. We've called community room. Space link, we are not formatted it, so we need to format it a little bit. Just a moment here. I'm going to need to increase a few things. It's compressing. No, I can do it. Okay. Okay, so this is because I just recently added space link. Okay. So this, I'm going to still increase the modified time further. Okay, great. So we have this is sorted out here. So what we were trying to do here is we wanted a situation where we go to the people, we go to their teams, and we add a different team. Let's add old school team. Okay. The apartment types that are accepted is the meeting room type. And then the appointments, no, the space type, meeting room, appointment type is this. Appointment limit is 5. Team appointment limit. We also have to put those team appointment limits too, so that we can also limit the number of appointments for all the members of such teams. That's something we are going to do, interestingly. Basically, it's number of appointments that the person can have in one day. So what we'll do is to check out the appointments for that day, and if it exceeds this, then we'll not be able to take another appointment for the person again. So that way, the person can work with the maximum number of appointments given to them. Okay. So now that we've done this, let's try to go to services and make some changes to appointments. So first things first is if we go to the second one now and we change the space, it means that, let me look at the timing now. We can use the same space with a different member. Now we have, in fact, this thing is not even going to, okay, yes, it won't work for either member or space. But let's try to use the same space with a different member. So the same space, no, different member. Who's the member? Let's use John Okafor. Okay. And this is his appointment. So John Okafor is using the I didn't add space here. Interesting. Okay, let's fix that. Space is supposed to be after appointment type, before member. So there's supposed to be space and member. So I didn't put that. So let's quickly fix that. So we have appointment type, space, and member. So we need to fix that real quick. So we have okay, so let's have space and member. Now, in terms of appointment subject, we also have to make sure that the subject is not checking for duplicates too. Or request subject. Yes, it's not checking for duplicates. So people that have the same subject. Yeah. Okay. So we need to work on the, yes, this. Now, I am just thinking that this coloring for this app is going to worry us. I'm not sure it's my eyes, but anyway, let's deal with this. When we get to where I want to sell it, if there's a complaint, we will just change the color. Okay, so we have the same space and a different member, yeah? So let's, if we then try to choose the same time, let me try to change 15 to 16. Let me change this to enter into 26. Oh no, not even that. Let me make this 14, start from 1426. So let it start from 1426. And let's see what it does. So room 101 is not available for, okay, that's because it is the same room. Okay, how about if we do different room, different member? Yes, let's choose community room. We choose, let's just choose John. It just changed because I was changing. So different room, different member. So let's try to make things, you know, it was the same room, the same member, and time rules were different. So this is 1525. Let's make this 1425. And it works. So we have the first appointment with me in room 101 and the other appointment with John Okafor in community room. So if we decide to change this John Okafor's room to room 101, this is what is going to happen. If you choose John Okafor again, room 101 is not available. Okay, then if we change back to community room, but we then try to change this to Emubusa, and we want him to be in the community room, Emubusa is not available for an appointment. So you see, there is not going to be any appointment conflict again in terms of booking. It's going to be easy to deal with timing, the times that people come for their various appointments. And of course, if people miss their appointments, you can simply just cancel the appointments. And to mark the appointment as cancelled, you can simply just see that the person never came. So when we say the expected time is this, what we're really going to do here is that we will it's interesting. I'm just trying to look at something here. I think I'm seeing a present reality. Let's get to, let's say the appointment is for today and for this time today. It's going to be pending. Let me check something. Let's put the appointment for a closer time. Let's make it 12:30. Oh no, 12:30. Okay, this is the future, yes? And it's pending. So what I want to see is this formula field. I want to see if this is going to change. If it doesn't change, it means that we're going to have to do something different about the formula field. Let's just let's see. Okay. So let's see what happened here. Okay, it's just pending. Okay, let's save and see. It's today, yeah? What does it show? Cancel. Okay, so I think we have to. Okay, there's something we will do. Okay, so if the appointment end time has reached, yes, if the appointment end time has reached, we would we need to run a script that will mark the appointment as cancelled. And I think I know what that script is going to be. Okay, so this is one of the tricks that we use to check, because if the status does not automatically change, then it's a problem. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have two schedules. As crazy as those schedules are, it is what it is. So let's go to add appointments, and we're going to work with the scheduled date time. Something doesn't feel very right here. Okay. Mm, mm, okay. Mm, let me see. Okay, it didn't take that out. Uh, I created something here. Let's check. Start time. This expected end date and time. We we created a field that I thought was going to be the field was going to be instrumental for times like this. And I want to trust that we can solve this problem. Let's see what this is. Let me do something here. It's not coming up. Okay. So what we will do is we would add another field. Let's see. Um, okay. Expected end date and time. Value. That's what we would call that team, that field. So I'm going to put it here. Call this expected um, expected end date and time value. It's not going to be duplicate. It's not going to have anything special. But I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to hide it. First and foremost, I'm going to take it out of reports. So let's take this out of here. Okay, just going to take it out of reports. Let's go to the workflow so I can hide it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hide expected end date and time value. So the reason I'm hiding this is because I don't want it to show anywhere, but I want to use it. So what we're going to do about this simply is that upon the submission of the form, appointment, we're going to set set expected and date and time value. Okay, and it will be for all. So set expected and date and time value. So we'll say inputs dot expected end time value is going to be equal to inputs dot expected end date and time eval, which is basically the raw date and time string for expected end. Okay. So in order to make sure this works effectively, we're just going to try to save both appointments again. Saving this one and saving the second one. So hopefully it's going to have the value. I didn't bring it out here, but I have a very good fit in the outcome. So now let's go to the schedule. I'll create a workflow in schedule. And I'm going to use that value. Choose a date field, go to add appointment, and I will see the expected end date and time value. So, but the first value I'm going to try to work on is I'm going to try to work on the scheduled date. Okay. And now the scheduled date, I'm going to do something fair. Remember that our minimum appointment duration is 15 minutes. Okay, and we can have appointments that are, or let's say our minimum appointment slot is 15 minutes, meaning there can't be any appointment that's less than 15 minutes. And then appointments are measured in hours. Okay. So you can have an appointment for 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever. But there's what I want to do here. What I want to do is I want to use, let's use 15 minutes to determine whether an appointment status should be updated or not. So we update the status of the appointment in 15 minutes automatically, and we update the status of the appointment automatically again towards the end. So this happens once, and we'll say update appointment status. So this is 15 minutes after the scheduled date time, and then we'll create this workflow. And we're just going to do something very simple. We will get appointment dates, time to be input dot schedule date time. Then we would say input dot schedule date time equals get appointment date time. What we're just doing here is we're trying to touch it so that it would work on that formula field. And of course, most times this is experimental, but it's just because that the formula field changes when there's an update. The second date field we're going to add here is the expected end date and time value. And we're going to do something on this date and time. What we're going to do is to update appointment status afterwards. Okay, let's call this afterwards. So then We're always updating it, and we'll get expected end date time is equal to input expected end date time eval. And in fact, basically, we don't even need to set a variable here because we already have something. Expected end date time value is equal to date time eval. So we will just update it again. Okay. So these are the two schedules that will automatically run in this application. So let's start with the first one. We wanted something that will happen 15 minutes after, yes? So let's take this appointment a bit backwards. Let's first of all make sure that it's not up to 15 minutes after. Let's say it's okay. We're going to do one for 15 minutes after and one for the end. Let's do this one for 15 minutes after. So this one, we're bringing him to 16th. And the time, we're taking it to 12. Okay. Oh, no, not 12 now. Let's take it to 11. Then instead of 43, now this one is for the beginning, yes? So since it's for the beginning, let it be when it starts. So let's make this one the event to start by 12:45 today, since the time is 12:44, and the appointment is going to be pending because the appointment was for 12:45. The time is 12:44. So we are going to have 15 minutes here in this session that we're having. So we're going to come back here to check in 15 minutes what really happened. Now, in the second appointment, let's do something here. Let's make it also, it's also 16 July, but let's work towards an end. So this was supposed to end. Okay, let's make it to end at the 45. 12:45. Okay. Okay, no, that's not good. No, this is not gonna work. This has to be okay. Maybe this should be for next time. So what I'll do is I don't know if I could make the appointment to be shorter. Let me check. This is working now. Okay, this duration is 1 hour, but let's see. Let me try and make another service. 15 times 4 is so this 15 minutes, yes? Okay, I'm going to even change that then. Why is this in service duration connected to 24 hours? That's strange. Oh, dear. How did I make this mistake? It's supposed to be service duration, not service price. Okay, great. Okay, so this is a different appointment now. So what I will do is ask for services. Um, Let me try to see something here. Trying to understand. Okay. I'm going to change this. That service status. I just want to see something. So anybody booking appointments can pick a service. Okay, this our guy is still coming from 12:45. So let's see whether it will change on its own. But I want to also save us time by choosing a different service. Okay. So now this service, exactly. Expected end time is now different. Okay, great. So let's do 12:48. Sorry. No, 12 not 12:45. Let's do 12. No, let's come back a bit. So what I'm going to do here is 12:40, 49. 12:55. Okay, let us use that to also get some time out. So let's say that the start time was 12:40. The appointment has started, yes? So let me see what happens if the appointment is not closed out. So yes. So another thing we also have to do here is to ensure that when the end time reaches, we can also say that the appointment has ended. That's another thing too. Good. So we have seen an edge case that will soon be validated shortly. So let's go to our schedules now. And at the end time, let's call this beforehand. You need to hurry up. This beforehand. And let's have this. We will then put the end date as well. So what we will say is if input dot start date time is not null, okay, then we'll have input end date time equals input dot expected end date time value. Okay. So this is basically what will happen by 12:55. While this one, so this one is supposed to change to cancelled and this is supposed to change to completed, so that somebody doesn't have to check whether the appointment was completed or not. It automatically just ends. Now, let me quickly work on the design of the form, and I'll tell you how things would differ. So, in order to make this make sense, we're going to have to change something about the activation of services. So, let us go to services. We'll go to services now, and we see that this was service status. Okay. But we're going to change this to enable service. Enable service. Okay. Enable service. So that you can tick enable service. But in the report, we're going to change this. No, sorry, not enable service now, activate service. Let's call this activate service. Activate service. So activate service. Okay. Okay. So we've done activate service. Now in the report, we are going to change this activate service to service status. So the name of the field is activate service, but the value is service status. You see now, we've changed it to service status. Okay, then we're also going to change one other thing. We're going to change it from activated and here to deactivated as well. So that when you go to that services, if you come here, you will see the option to activate service. Okay. And then if you go to services themselves, you see service status activated. So it's not going to be like in a different curve all along. So let's see what happened here. Okay, still pending. Expected end time. Okay, this is 1 o'clock that we're expecting an update here. Here we're expecting an update by 12:55. So in the next 1 minute, we're going to see an update in the second schedule. Yeah, so it's 12:55 now. And you see that it says the appointment has ended automatically. You see, so there's never going to be an appointment whose end time is not logged if a start time was logged. And of course, if the information is brought forward, it means that then we can add a validation that says that if the time has passed, for instance, if the appointment, if the expected end date and time has passed, then you must enter the end date and time. But if it has not passed, you must not enter. So let's go to the appointment now and say workflows. So if the time has passed, you must enter it. If it does not pass, so we are doing check appointment dates now. Okay. So let's use this if here. This if else if. So if this date, this appointment end date now, the end date is not provided. Okay. So let's do something here. If this end date, if this start date is not known, okay, and input.expected end date and time value is less than Zoho.current time, then end date must be provided when start date and time is provided and the expected end date and time has passed. That means that there must be a record in that case. Because this time is before it is before the current time, so that means it has passed. Okay? And even if you put a start date and time in the past, whatever happens, it's all about if it has passed. Obviously, if you put a start date and time in the before, it's not going to work. But if for any reason the time has passed, it's going to give that indication. Now we have forgotten something that is very crucial. And that thing is to check service status. Now, checking service status is a thing of if the appointment has not passed. Okay? So, what we're going to do here is we'll do a validation and say check service status. If the appointment has passed, it's not a problem, but if the appointment has not passed, the service can be disabled. So we'll say if input.service.activate status is equal to false. And here we go now. And not start date and time now. Scheduled date and time is less than Zoho current time. That means that the appointment is disabled, but the schedule has not passed. So that means it's in the future and it's disabled, it will not accept it. So it will then tell you the service itself, input the service name has been deactivated. Please choose an active service for the upcoming appointment. Okay. For upcoming appointments. So that and then if the appointment has passed, we also need to do something smart here. If the appointment has passed, we can specify that it's for the service and all that, but we also have to mention the start and end date. So now, what we need to do here is, when the appointment has passed, we need to also make sure that the start date is specified. Okay. So when the appointment has passed, we need to make sure that the start and end date, when this has happened. So what we're going to do here is very simple. We'll say if this happens, okay, that means that the appointment has passed, okay, and the start date and time is equal to no. Yes, so start date and time is equal to no. What we'll then do is to say that start date and time must be provided for past appointments. And then we'll cancel this. So if this is less than the current time, then the expected end date and time has passed. And then oh, sorry. And then you must put the start date and time. Okay? So we're talking about the expected ends now that we're looking at. So if it has passed, then you must have the start date and time, and you must specify the end date as well if you are making changes accordingly. Okay. So there was one thing we didn't do properly here, and that thing was in our validation of, we call this appointment for an appointment, but we did not correct this for an appointment at the selected start time. Start date and time. Let's go to member and fix this too. All right, so let us look at our records now, the second one, and see what happened. So we were waiting for an update, and boom, it's cancelled. So 15 minutes after, when the appointment was expected to end, it was marked as cancelled, meaning that this person did not show up at the time the appointment was expected to end. Okay. So now, if we want to update this appointment now, this from 12:45 to expected to end 1:45, we can still update it without entering a specific date and time. Nothing will go wrong. But if we now make it to be that the appointment has truly passed by choosing maybe an earlier hour, then we will be required to specify the. Oh, I see what has happened. Okay, no. We will not be using this for validation. Okay. We need to use the correct thing for validation, please. Let's use eval for validation. So I'm going to make sure that eval is used. Okay, this has to be eval. Eval, please. And the other one here also has to be eval. Because what happened just now is that the expected end date and time had not become updated here, and that wasn't good enough. So the eval didn't pick it. We had made changes, but it wasn't working with the new one. So let us change it back. Let's change this to 12 o'clock again. And we'll find out that we can save it. But if we come here now and we want to change this to 11 o'clock, change this to 11 o'clock, it's not supposed to allow us to save it without yes putting a start date and time for the past appointment. And when we are putting the start date and time, it's going to expect us to follow the rules. We don't expect the appointment can start late, but now say end date and time is provided when start date and time is provided and expected end date and time has passed. So the expected time the appointment is supposed to end has passed. So you must specify when the appointment actually ended. And you can say that this appointment was it took place this time, and end time cannot be in the future. So we're going to have to shift this back a bit. 12:05, and tada. So we have marked the appointment end, and this is how much came out of the appointment: 250 naira. So here you can pretty much see the values of things. When things close out, then you see that okay, this is how much as an organization that you are in terms of revenue or money spent or price. Maybe you have people who schedule appointments with and all that. Now let's do a little bit of protection. We don't expect at the end of the day when appointments have passed that people can change all these. So let's put some restriction. Let's not allow you to change the customer when the appointment has passed. Let's not allow you to change the contact. Let's not allow you to change the service, appointment type, space, and member. So we're going to gray out all these fields when the appointment has passed. Only when the appointment has passed. If the appointment has not passed, you can make changes, but once the appointment has passed, you cannot make changes. Okay, and also you will also not be able to make changes to the scheduled date and time when the appointment has passed. Oh yes, I'm not going to forget that one. So this is for edited. I don't want to use field rules because the timing is a matter. And I want to check something. I want to see. I want to be very smart with this thing. I want to. I don't also want to leave the form open and then come back later and update the appointments. So what I'm going to do. I'm thinking of no, I don't want somebody to. The appointment just passed while you open the field. Okay, well, I think that's an edge case that cannot. If the form is open, then well, if the form was opened before the appointment passed, then the appointment can be changed as long as the form was opened before. Okay, I think I know what to do. You cannot change. Let me choose what can be changed. So let's see. You can't change the customer once the appointment time has reached, the contact, and the service. Good. Mm, but you can change the space, member, and the appointment type. Okay, no, you can change the service. Once the appointment has started, you can change the service, appointment type, space. Um, okay, that's true. Once the appointment has started, you really cannot change the space and member, customer, and contacts. But you can change the service. How does this even? This one be good. Yeah, but you can change. So when the appointment has started, it's only the service you can change because you have booked a time and somebody has you have locked in. So other people are locked in as well. So yes. So once it has started, let me see. Okay, let me do something. I will disable the changes and I will then prevent any updates until the appointment expected end. Then I will disable the other one after the appointment expected end. That's the service after the appointment expected end. So this customer and contact, appointment space and member, appointment type space and member will be once the appointment has started. And then I'm going to also do a validation to prevent update until the expected end time so that, yeah, even if you change it, it doesn't spoil the next person's opportunity. So everybody's opportunity is secure once the appointment starts. If the appointment has not started, then you can change the opportunity and the availability. But of course, you can't book in the past. So this is a very, this has really been tricky. So what we'll do is, first things first, let's use load of the form. We'll use load of the form and say prevent changes on schedule, date, and time. So the first thing we would say is if inputs.schedule date and time is less than Zoho.current time, that means that schedule date and time has passed. So we'll disable what and what and what. Customer contacts, appointment space and member. Appointment type is a member. So we'll disable customer, disable contacts, disable appointment type, disable space, and we'll disable member. So So that will not allow us to edit them. But we'll also likewise enable them if the situation is different. Okay, great. So we'll enable them if the situation is different. Okay. Now we'll also do a validation of dates and say, look, if the scheduled date has passed, we will do this here. If the scheduled date has passed, while we have this error as true, we'll also have our own complainant. And what we're going to have as our complainant is that let me see. Yes, if this part has passed, so we would okay, we will check something. We will say if inputs that expected end date and time event has not passed or has equally passed or has not passed rather. So let's say if it's still greater than the current time. Okay. Then we'll say appointments cannot be updated until the expected end date and time is passed. So that way we secure our investment in terms of somebody booking an appointment and the amount that the person has paid and so on and so forth. And then we will then have this particular guy to say, look, if the expected date time has passed equally, where are we? If the expected date time has passed, we need to do something about this. I'm coming. Hang on. Yes. So expected date time has passed. I'm coming. I'm going to use this somewhere else. Yes, so if the expected date time has passed, we're going to do something different. So if it's less than the current time, then we'll now say appointments cannot be updated when the not that. The time has passed, I think. Yes, so you can't update the appointment when the expected date time has passed. In the interim, we're also going to do something here on load of the form. Okay, good. So here we have if this is this, that's what this one is. Now let's have another pair. Let's have a pair for expected end date time eval. It is less than. And what we have for this is service. We'll disable the service. And here we enable the service. Okay. So let's fly a kite now and see how the kite fits. So everything is disabled, and apparently it appears that you will not be able to. Okay, wait. You're able to update this 1255. Okay. Anyway, this has been changed. Yeah. Let's check appointment dates now. So each scheduled date time is less than. Okay, yeah, it's less than. Okay, then I think that we should. This shouldn't be here. This should be a general thing. Yeah, this has to be general. It doesn't have to be. Good. So appointment cannot be updated when the expected date time has passed. Good. So, and in the reality, the fact is that when you set the appointment and the start date is not set, the end date is not set, but there's expected end like date and time, it means that the person didn't come. And then the appointment was marked as cancelled at that time. That is at 15 minutes afterwards, the appointment was marked as cancelled. Now, also at the expected end date and time, the expected end date and time is also going to be provided as well as update. So we find that we will not be able to update any of these appointments because their expected date time has passed. Now let's book a new appointment and let's make this to be let's choose our test service. Notation. We also want maybe we want a situation where the members can provide the services that we choose. How about that? So if the service that we selected is something the members can do, that's also something to write home about, really. So let's just, oh, sorry. Oh, it's protecting me. So let's try and book this appointment now. Let's book it for 3:26. Okay. So the appointment has been booked for 3:26. But we want to make sure that the service that we're choosing is a type that can be offered by the person that, and we don't want a situation where the service is removed from that person. Or so few things. We have to put a validation to make sure that you cannot update appoint. You can't update a team. You can't change a team's appointment type. Yes, and space types. Yes. Okay, that's fine. That has been done. Um, but you need to also have member services too. Yeah, you need to have member services. So, and you should not be able to update member services when there's an appointment with the member and services provided. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to make sure that how many members have appointments? Just Emobosa and Okafor, and the services are test and software installation. So I'm going to allow both of them. Okay, test and software installation. So let's solve that. Okay, so now that we solved the other things, let's now add services for members, and I think we will be done. Because basically, we need to make sure that the members are competent enough to provide the specific services. So we're going to go to the members form now, and we're going to have services. Okay. So we're going to come and use our lookup. Let's say add service. So we'll say service name. Multi-select, and we'll say member services. So we say member services. Okay. So this is service ID and service name. Now we need to put compulsory member services here. And here we can say add service. Okay. And this has been sorted out now. Now we also need to put in the report the specific member services as provided, and we need to put the settings. So we'll go to member services here. Then we'll go to this place here. Now, you know, we only have like member team and all that. Now we can have what did we do here? I think we didn't even do the right thing here. So I think we had member team. It's member services. Okay. I hope this works though. I don't think I'm satisfied with what I'm saying here. Let's just leave it as member services. It's okay. Yeah. Let's leave it as member services. It's fine. It's a multiple stuff. Then I have member services here. Right after remarks. So we'll just double check this one here. See member services. Okay, great. So at least it's going to just give you a little bit of like an overview. Okay. Now I'm going to do something interesting here. Just to make it better for the mobile users, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to introduce a formula that will count the number of member services. Member services total or count, or member services supported. Let's call it supported. We don't need to make it visible in the form, we can just make it a report related thing. Then we'll bring another formula field. We will now call this member services. Okay. And thinking if, yeah, I think this should work. So we call this member services list. So we would bring in this member services supported, but we won't bring in the list. So here, we're bringing in supported. Okay. It's a total number of member services supported. We're even going to have total average and minimum and stuff like that. Then we would remove the services list, but we'll put the supported. Okay. Then we'll go to this mobile view here. And we're going to change this member services to member services supported so that it shows us a count. Okay. But again, this is not going to. No, it doesn't matter. At least you will know from the app. So that's member services supported. Yeah, okay. So this is sorted out now. And we have the ability to now add member services. So we have to go to members first and add their services. So we go to people. And then we have to really choose services for these two members. So let's choose both services for both of them. Services supported are 2. Okay, and going to increase this a little bit. Okay, good. And then John Okafor services supported. Let's make it also 2. Then we can share the others between the other 2 people. Another thing that instead of services supported, Let's call that services provided. Can we do that? Okay, good. So we have, yeah, services provided. So we'll just go change that real quick to services provided and it will propagate everywhere. Member services provided. Okay. Okay, so now that has become member services provided. So we have the number of services provided as it were. Okay? So now that we have this, let's now limit the appointments to the services that members can provide per time. And in order to do that, we're going to use validation. The reason we're using validation is because we don't want a situation where we cannot stop a member from providing a service accordingly. Okay? And we also do not want a situation where let's see. Okay, well, um, we can deactivate the service and enable another one if we want to stop the service. If we want to stop the member from providing the service, then we can stop the service, add the service to add the additional service to the member, or to the respective members where you want to. Thinking. We have spaces, we have. Okay. I want to check something. Let's take a look at this. If the customer is sacrosanct, the contact is sacrosanct, you can't delete it as an appointment, so you can. Okay, so we can now put customer status so that we can stop customers from. So we have put service status. So space. You shouldn't be able to delete a space. You shouldn't be able to delete a member. So member is fine. Space is fine. Current type is fine. Contact is fine. Customer is fine. If you want to, okay, so there's a disabling of yeah, the service is not active. Don't allow it. The service is not provided by the person. Don't allow it. Um, um, The customer can change his contact, so that one is not an issue. They have to do that, but that's fine. We don't need to enable that. Customers are customers. So service availability. Yeah, that's about it. So service availability and service that the service that the member provides in the past. Service availability and service that the member provides. Yes, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to change this to service availability and validity. Okay. No, what did I do? Oh no, this was not service. This is space. Let's go to service. Service status and validity. Okay. So what we would say here is we would come and say if if member member dot member services list that contains inputs dot service. Okay. And the schedule is in the future. Okay. Then service is not provided by inputs that okay, no, not about future. It's about the input too. Yeah, it's also about the input. Yes, thanks for noting this. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, so it's also about the input. So if the input.id is equal to null as an alternative situation, then complain. So here we have that service has been deactivated. Choose an active service for the upcoming appointment in future. So if it's upcoming and otherwise, it's upcoming and otherwise. So even if it's not upcoming, if it is ongoing and it's no, yes, so okay. So we'll change this to string. Okay, if it's no, then whenever it is, because if you're saving information, yep, so this does it. Okay, so I think what is left for us here is to do our validation. What we just did was the service viability. So we had our third booking here. And you see now in terms of services, test is not provided by mobile. So I wonder how that's possible. Hang on. Okay, I think I did it wrongly. If contains is equal to false, rather. Yeah. So if it's equal to false. Okay, great. So now, if I go now and go and remove tests from Amagosa, it doesn't necessarily, or okay, let me even choose another person. Let me choose Stella. And I go and choose Stella instead. And for Stella, I choose software installation. Software installation is not provided by Stella account. Please choose an active service for the upcoming account. Do you get so that way, or choose a supported service? Okay. Yes, choose a supported service for the upcoming account. Okay, great. So choose a supported service. Good. So that way we have that service that we're able to update. If it's for the new cases, let's try to open the services and then disable the one that we're trying to use, which is software installation. So I'm going to deactivate this service now. Okay. And software installation is deactivated. So if I come and try to continue, the software installation has been deactivated. Please choose an answer to the current panel. So you see now that this is tight-fisted and this can go to market. No, it's not provided by Stella, but if I choose a Mobusa, it will work. So we have our appointment manager, our schedule manager, and it's good to go. How long did it take us to build this app? Let's see. It took us from July 7th to 16th. So that's 9 days. Now, where on earth would you get a platform that allows you to build this kind of heroic app in just 9 days? Tell me, where? Okay, so now that we've done this, let's now put some checkers. I don't think we've done the delete checking before now. Okay, we have. No, we haven't. I'm just checking. We only did check number 14. We didn't do anything else. Okay, great. So we're going to take this now so that we can apply comments and then we have a very good test case. So let's start with appointment. Appointments can be deleted no matter what. So you don't need to check whether anything exists to delete appointments. But appointment types, you need to check. So you need to come now and say, okay, for deleted validations, we say check appointments. Okay. So check appointments. So check for associated appointments before deleting appointment types. Find appointments associated with appointment types. Good. So we'll say get appointments. We'll say add appointments. And then we have appointment type. What's this? Check number of appointments associated with the appointment type. So we have get appointments. For this one. So now say appointment type cannot be deleted when members are associated with it. Alright, so this is for appointments. For appointment type. Now member cannot be deleted, service cannot be deleted when used as well for appointment. So what we're going to do in each of these for member and service is that we're just going to focus on the appointment affair for member. But for service, we're going to focus on both appointment and member. So let's create this one now. This for appointment. So check appointments. Okay, check this one on the members. Members. Okay. So get appointments. Member. Appointments associated with them. Okay. I think we need to do something here. There's something we messed up with here. Okay, and this is singular. Yeah, this is singular. Okay. So with existing appointments, okay. Now we also need to make sure that this is just for member, so appointment type. Let's check team two. Okay. Um, okay, I think that, yeah, I think I have the students with this uppercase here. I'm coming to this shortly. Yes, it's an apartment, that's fine. It's an apartment, okay. Okay. So this is this. Now let's do service. We'll check appointment member. So we're going to do this. Solicited. Okay, so this for appointments and then our services. Here we have members. Okay. Services. Service. The service. Service. Apartments. So the service cannot be deleted when apartments are associated with it. Cannot be deleted. So number of one associated with the services. So we've done services. So let's do members. Partners, the members. No. Sorry. Services. Okay, so it's associated members with the services. Okay. Services, members, and then we have a member. Okay, no, here we have members. We have member. Then we have service, member services list that contains inputs data ID to string. Okay. Then check number of what? Members associated with the service. So here we have get members. Service. So service cannot be deleted when members associated with it. Okay, great. Okay, so this is it, and I think we are good in this regard. So for contacts, contact also is for appointments. And then we have customer, which contact is for customer. So we'll just quickly tidy this up. I know we are out of time, but let us use the appointments affair. Accordingly. Okay, I think we have a bit of a network glitch here. So we need to try to. I'm hoping that you can still see my screen. Okay, great. So it's still connected. I think I'm having a kind of network glitch. Just need to refresh again. I'm just taking only the appointment part of things here. Okay. So I will just take appointment part here. Now, the idea here is that you can look at what is going on and learn from it. Okay. So we've done this one. We're going to, we even have space. Space is still here and the space type. But let's use contact and customer goes for appointment. But then customer cannot be deleted when a contact exists for it. So you have to delete the contact. So let's start with contacts first. Or let's start with the ones that don't have doubles so that we can be out of here in no time. So we're choosing delete. And then we're checking appointments and customers. Yeah. Appointments and customers. But we're only going to put appointments at this time so that we can address the custom cases. So we're putting appointments, we're checking contacts. Then we'll use contact here associated with the contact. This will rather be very fast. And then appointment associated with the contacts. Then we'll say contact cannot be deleted when appointments are associated with it. So let's move on to the next one, which is the space. Okay, for space, we're using delete validation. So we'll say check appointments and space types. No. No, just check appointments. This one does not have anything to do with it's space types that is the second one. So I'm deleting spaces. For appointment associated with the spaces. Appointments, I'm calling the space. Check on appointment associated with the space. This distribution element associated with this space. And then now says space cannot be deleted when appointments are associated with it. Okay. Then space can also, yeah, space cannot be deleted when, oh, you're right. Yeah, space cannot be deleted when customers, when space types are associated with it. So let us do space types here. In fact, let us copy from space. That's why I wanted us to do this part first. So let's copy from space now. So that all we are changing here is space types. Then we change this to space types. Okay. Then we change this to space types. Then we change this to space type. Then we will say space, yeah? Okay, now space type is, let's see. I think that what we need to do is, this one is quite tricky. We cannot delete a space that has space types. Okay. And that has space type in it. So I think that what we need to do is, this is for space type. This is not for. This is okay. So let us take the one for space type. You cannot delete a space type where it's associated with a space. So if you delete a space type, yes, and deleting spaces. So we're just going to type the text out here and copy it. So find, check for associated space types, consider the spaces. Yeah, space type. Now this will not work well here because this is not for space type, but I am just typing the text so that we can save time. Associated with the space. Okay, check associated space types before deleting space. Associated spaces before deleting space types. Yeah. Spaces associated with the space types. But is it really? If you delete a space type, yeah, that means, yeah, they are associated with space. So find space associated with space type. So if there's no space, then you can delete it. So number of spaces associated with space types. So I'll just take space types. So we're going to stop here today because I'm going to have to attend to another meeting. Space type cannot be deleted when spaces are associated with it. So I'm just going to copy this now and put it under space types. At this point, our application works and it can make money, but we need to just tidy things up so that users don't get too messed in. So we have 6 pieces. Okay, so this will work for space type. So you can't delete a space type that has a space. Okay, and space type has nothing to do with appointments. Only spaces have what to do with appointments. So that's sorted out. Now, customer only has what to do with appointments. So but we're going to treat customer last next week. No, on Friday, we'll treat customer last. Then we're going to dress up this application on Friday and get it ready for shipping. So if you want to get something from this, you want to get a copy of this application or you want to be part of the sales, you have to show us something in the community, webworktools.com/community. All right, so it's a wrap.